Hello, fourth grade. Mr. Sweet here, coming at you with another division lesson. We're going to do division lesson number 2. Thought I would put my pretty face down in the bottom right corner of this lesson. Let you know I'm alive, doing fine. And today's essential question is, how can you divide multi-digit numbers and check your answers? So again, how can we divide multi-digit numbers? So again, we've talked about regrouping strategy. We talked about also the partial quotients yesterday. When you check your answer, you're going to go ahead and multiply your quotient by your divisor, and that should equal the dividend. So that's how you check your division problems. And division vocabulary review, I thought we'd look at this really quick. We have the divisor, which is the green 8 on the outside. Your divisor is on the outside. Your dividend's on the inside. What are you dividing up? The red dividend, 817. Your quotient, which is on the top, is your answer to a division problem. And then the blue remainder 1, is what's left over. Sometimes you have remainders, sometimes you don't. In this case, you have a remainder of 1. And then they go on the other side of your product. And if you look at your product, that is going to be the answer to a division or multiplication problem. And then the difference is when you subtract two numbers. So again, when you divide, these are going to be your steps. And then when you check, you're going to multiply your quotient, in this case of 102, and multiply that by your divisor, which is 8. And when you multiply those two factors together, you should get 817, or the answer to your basically your dividend, which is 817. So once you multiply, again, your quotient by your divisor, 817, that should equal your dividend. Once you know those match up, and don't forget, you have to also add your remainder, they should equal 817. They should match. So that's how you check your division problem. All right. Just thinking, man, in this room, it's kind of getting boring. What can we do? I just wish there was something exciting. Wait, did you guys hear that? Oh boy. Oh yeah. Disco division is back. It is back. Step 1, divide. Step 2, multiply. Step 3, subtract. Step 4, bring down. Step 5, repeat. Guys, everybody stand up. Fourth grade, do it with me. So we're going to warm up. Point to the corner, point to the ceiling. 1, 2, 3. Divide, multiply, subtract, bring down, repeat. Let's try it again. Let's warm those arms up. 1, 2, 3. Divide, multiply, subtract, bring down, repeat. Again, let's try it together, all together now. Everybody stand up. Give me some disco rolls. This time we're going to say disco, disco, disco. Divide, multiply, subtract, bring down, repeat. So now you're going to try it on your own. Let's go. Disco, disco, disco. Divide, multiply, subtract, bring down, repeat. Good job, fourth grade. And just in case you miss a step, let's take a quick view of what we got. Again, we got step 1, divide the first number. So you're going to divide over in the hundreds place. And how many times can you divide 9 divided by 2, which is 4? Step 2, multiply 4 times 2, which equals 8. Step 3, you're going to take 9 minus 8 equals 1. Step 4, bring down the 4. And step 5 is repeat. So then you repeat the whole process over. So 14 divided by 2 is 7. Go back to step 2, multiply 7 times 2 is 14. Step 3, subtract 0. Step 4, bring down the 7. And then you subtract 7 minus 6 is 1. And then you repeat. Now, once your remainder is lower than your divisor or smaller than your divisor, in this case 1 is less than 2, you're done. Your remainder stands at the top. Again, I'm glad you guys enjoyed disco division. It is back. Hey, fourth grade, welcome back. Remember, disco division is really there as a mnemonic device or a mnemonic way to help you remember complicated or multiple steps in a process. So I know it's kind of fun. Mr. Sweet gets into it, but there is a reason for disco division, and that's to remember your steps. If you decide you like to use the regrouping method to solve your division work. So I will do one example with you guys using disco division, and keep in mind, again, that is using the regrouping method. If you think of, well, what is disco division? What method is it? Partial quotients, or is it regrouping? It will be regrouping. All right, example 1, find a quotient, use any method you wish, check your work. I am going to, in fact, do the regrouping method. So remember, the first step in disco division is divide. So you're going to divide the 3. 3 divided by 2, we know if I look at 3 divided by 2, how many 2's can I get out? 3 is 1. So that's your first step, divide. And you're going to divide your largest place value into hundreds in this case, which is a 3. The next step is multiply. So I like to put a little multiplication outside the house. So 1 times 2 is 2. And the next step in disco division is subtract. 3 minus 2 is 1. And then the next step is bring down. We're bringing down to 9 in this case. And then, again, if your remainder is larger than your divisor, you still have to repeat the whole process over until your remainder is less than the divisor or 0. In this case, 19 is much greater. We're going to keep going. So when you repeat, what is that saying when you repeat? You're going to go all the way back to the top to divide. So 19 divided by 2, again, is 9. And they're not always going to be equal. We know it's going to be 18, but we're going to get as close to this number here without going over. Okay, so 19 divided by 2 is 9, and then you do 9 times 2 is 18. And then just go to division, multiply. Comes next is after multiplication is subtract. 19 minus 18 is 1. And then you guessed it, bring down the 4. In this case, we're going to go ahead and repeat. So 14 divided by 2 is 7. The next step in disco division is 7 times 2 is 14. And then you subtract. In this case, your remainder is less than your divisor of 2, so you are done. Again, if you check your work, you're going to go ahead and multiply your quotient of 197 times your divisor of 2. 18 minus 19, 2 times 1 is 2, plus 1, 3. So if your product over here, when you multiply your quotient by your divisor, equals the dividend of the original division problem, you know it's correct. Okay, pause the video if you guys need to review the regrouping method using disco division. Okay, welcome back, fourth grade. Problem number 1, you'll be doing this one on your own. Problem 1 is, again, find the quotient, use any method you wish, check your work. So you have 208 divided by 2. Go ahead and answer on its learning and pause the video. My pen sometimes just has a mind of its own. Here we go. So answer on its learning and pause the video now. And welcome back. Problem number 2. Find a quotient. Use any method you wish. Check your work. 709 divided by 4. Go ahead and answer your question on its learning. There'll be some multiple choice answers. Go ahead and pause the video now. And welcome back, 4th grade. This is our last problem of lesson 2. Problem number 3. How many arrangements can the shop owner make if he uses all the roses? The flower shop received a shipment of 248 pink roses and 256 red roses. The shop owner uses 6 roses to make one arrangement. How many arrangements can the shop owner make if he uses all of the roses? So there's a few steps in this problem. Remember to use cubes to help you identify the information you need, underline the question, and also figure out how are you going to solve this problem, what steps are needed. So this is the last problem, and I hope you enjoyed the disco division today, and I'll see you guys tomorrow for lesson 3.